Consciousness is a state of being when an individual is awakened to their place, historically, culturally, socio-politically, and spiritually in the diaspora.
New terms, these food deserts where you gotta travel so far just to go shopping. You can't go shopping in your neighborhood, you gotta go way somewhere. When these things begin to start to become important, or you start trying to discuss something, you're like, what the hell are you talking about? They looking at you like you purple, for real, like you just flew down off a spaceship from some other planet. Like, what you talking about? Again, it goes back to only when those things become painful, i.e., it took for the government to shut down, and some of us not receiving our food stamps all the time. They're not coming to save you. This system of things is not really set up for you or me. It's the crumbs that they throw out there to keep them Negroes complacent. Let me give you a couple of trinkets, shut your ass up, so I can keep doing what I'm doing. You can have little food stamps, little unemployment. You gonna shut up? Let me do it. Yeah. Take these little trinkets. It's only when you become conscious, like, wait a minute. If this is possible on a small level simply because they didn't do what they needed to do to vote to get bills and things, what happens when they decide that, yeah, we just done, we ain't gonna do none of this no more, period? Oh, kind of like DEI. It used to exist, and as soon as 47 got in there and affirmative action, all that's gone now. But we don't see how that affects us. We don't see how the erosion of protections that's been put in place.
The Trump administration has ordered several changes to the way that the federal government does business. One of them is to remove a decades-old clause from the rules that federal contractors must follow. The clause, which dates back to the 1960s, explicitly banned companies from maintaining segregated facilities. While companies that contract with the federal government still need to comply with current laws that prohibit segregation and discrimination, experts say the removal of this decades-old contract clause is significant. NPR's Selena Simmons-Duffin has this exclusive story.
The change came in a public memo issued last month by the General Services Administration and affects contracts from all agencies of the federal government. In the memo, William Clark, director of the Office of Government-Wide Acquisition Policy, explained that the GSA was prompted by President Trump's executive orders on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the one about gender identity. It includes a list of 9 clauses to exclude in future contracts. One particular clause on the list to be excluded from contracts going forward is called, quote, prohibition of segregated facilities, which reads, quote, the contractor agrees that it does not and will not maintain or provide for its employees any segregated facilities at any of its establishments. It defines segregated facilities as work areas, restaurants, drinking fountains, transportation, housing, and more, and it says you can't segregate based on, quote, race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or national origin. Sacalato notes that gender identity was added to the clause in 2015 under President Obama.
I would suspect that that is the reason why this one got identified on the list. That's my speculation.
The memo does not say to exclude that part of the clause, though. It says to exclude the whole thing. The General Services Administration did not answer NPR's questions about why that clause was removed. In a statement, GSA spokesperson Will Powell said, quote, GSA has taken immediate action to fully implement all current executive orders. Melissa Murray is a constitutional law professor at NYU. She thinks the removal of the segregated facilities clause is significant.
It's symbolic, but it's incredibly meaningful in its symbolism.
Murray points out there are still federal and state anti-discrimination laws.
The federal government is saying, we don't require you as contractors to have integrated facilities. It's fine if you have segregated facilities, but that, of course, would make an employer non-compliant with the terms of the Civil Rights Act.
She explains that these provisions were part of the federal government's efforts to facilitate racial integration.
The fact that they are now excluding those provisions from the requirements for federal contractors, I think, speaks volumes.
She says her father, a Jamaican immigrant studying at Howard University in the 1950s, worked in the stockroom at a Washington, D.C. department store because Black people weren't allowed to work on the sales floor. When it comes to segregation in America, she says, it's not far removed at all. Selena Simmons-Duffin, NPR News, Washington.
We're not feeling the pain of it yet. It's only when... why does it take for us to have to be put in these horrible conditions of pain in some way, shape, form, or fashion for us to do? We need to start doing something about this now. It's that's almost like I'm having a heart attack. You feel the effects of what the heart attack is doing to you, and you don't do anything about it. And next thing you know, you're looking at Peter. How did I get here? Judgment. Stupid, you had all and that I don't like to use terms like that, but that's that's just dumb. You felt all of these different signals telling you, hey, something is not going right. I might need to do something before too late, I'm dead. Again, being conscious and hey, like some of my elders used to, don't piss on me and call it rain. What's being done is not right. Not here, among us in the United States, as American citizens, as it relates to ICE and a lot of these policies. Us still being the only people that every 20 years they gotta revote to see if they want to allow us to vote again. Just don't seem right to me. I don't know. Everybody, the Caucasians gotta, no, they could just, Asian, no, the Native American, the blacks the only ones every 20 years they gotta go. Most people don't know that. Because they're not making themselves avail the information that's out there. So how has my consciousness has changed? I've lost friends, just simply, and not in a dramatic way. Just I think in a natural falling way. Like, okay, I still care about you. We just moving in different directions. Like I'm trying to do something more. I'm trying to understand more of life in general for myself. Like, I'm realizing that, I had drunk the Jim Jones juice and got caught up in this whole American dream aspect of things, and in particular, like with my service. Go to prison, you get out, you serve your time, you apply yourself, and you get an education, and no, that don't work. I was released 2007, it's 2025, 18 years. It's been 18 years since I've been released, and to this day, every job I go to, they get to the background check, they're looking at my extensive record. This happened in 95. And I've served the time for it, which was supposed to be a recompense for what I did. You still bringing it up and preventing me from moving forward, even though I got a whole skill set. You know, education stuff that you said that I was supposed to do. None of that matter. Always because of where and how. I'm good if I want to go and work at McDonald's. Yeah, janitor job. McDonald's, flip a burger, great. My mind dictates that I'm way above that. It's the picture that this society has painted, that we aren't capable of certain things. Well, through your educational system, I proved that I am. Oh, but I still can't do it because you say I'm a never mind. But again, that's where consciousness comes in. And us being cognizant that everything that they paint on CNN, NBC is not necessarily the truth. The way that they present things to you is not necessarily the truth. And there are exceptions to every rule. Exceptions is the point. It's not the rule. But they paint it to you as if it's the rule when it's really the exception. We got to get a lot better at it. Having some sense of yourself and what you stand for and where you want to go in life. If you don't have a desire for a change, you're not going to seek it out. And seeking out the information that hasn't been given to you. Seeking out the information that's being hidden on purpose from you for various reasons. Some things are hidden because the individuals that's in power, they want to stay in power. They're just worried about a seat. Some individuals, they hide it because they know that change could be detrimental to them and their culture. And if we let these Negroes get power, they gonna do. Little you know, unfortunately, I can almost guarantee if we were given power, we give it right back to them. Because that's how we've been trained. If they turned over every governmental function within a week, probably they'd have it all back. Because we don't know the system. We haven't learned of collective organization and government building and running a country equitably. Not this same thing that we see today, but actually doing things from an equitable standpoint, from a humanitarian standpoint. We don't get it. Actually, we would be horrible right now to give that kind of power to. That's like giving a 6-year-old keys to a Lamborghini. Children, you can't expect them to grow appropriately if you don't give them the tools to grow appropriately. And adults, definitely, they've lived a life, whatever life they've lived, up to the point that they came into contact with you, family or not. It's an individual. Our spouses or partners trying to come together as one. You're individuals. Your level of consciousness on things. You can get close, but you're still individuals. Actually, it's not a thing. I know because it's by design. We're consistently in a state of survival mode. Every day, we got to be doing something different in accordance with what we know. That you take us back. Let us be groits. We have to be the transmitters of our own history because we see what we've gotten from everybody else. Not necessarily what's beneficial for us to move us forward. So, I appreciate having this opportunity. I appreciate the insights, and I'm hoping that, again, and praying that something that's said now, something that is being done now, can help to move us to a much better place tomorrow. I'm not so much caught up on me seeing it. I would love to see it, but I want to be a part of that work.